In with Piti Mayor Jesse Alig, and it's kind of we try and go round robin, visit each of the villages. It's our cool way of getting out of the studio. So, Mayor, we'll go ahead and give you the floor. What's the latest news from the village of Piti?
Off today, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, by the way, for the
Yes.
treats.
First things first.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the empanada on Monday
And the fried rice.
and the fried rice. I
And
never
the shirt.
and the shirt and the
mugs.
I just drank coffee out of the mug.
Okay, that's a good thing. I hope you guys enjoy the shirt and the mug because we're very proud of what we do here in PD, and we really do like that shirt, and we hope you wear it. It's a comfortable one.
It's a little bit tight, Mayor.
Oh, it's okay. We can get a bigger one.
Yeah, that's like a PI large. I'm more on the XL. Hey, ask anybody. All right, hey.
Well, I'm proud to say that even Governor Leon Guerrero wears the shirt. We get word that she wears it out in the street, so
Nice.
I'm happy about that.
That's a
We're gonna
cool
have
little
to-
logo. Who did that logo, Mayor?
Austin from Seawalker, Austin
Nice.
Domingo.
Nice.
So when I first came in, that was one of our projects to clean up our walls up at the Polaris Point area.
Right.
And Seawalker was generous enough to have Austin put that together, and then they paid for it all. So we all really liked it, and so that kind of became our logo with Austin's approval.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool thing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And thanks again.
Right.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Now that
And,
we buttered each other all up, let's get. So what's going on in your village?
Well, it's still kind of slow. People are staying home still, which is a good thing. Our baseball field is still. I still don't open the baseball field, and I know we have some teams that are looking forward to practicing, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can get them out. We are doing mixed fit though. I saw a day. I do see that cup, and but I do know that we've started our mixed fit in Santos Park, and that's actually a good turnout. People social distance properly, and we don't have more than 25 at least for this week, and then perhaps we'll have more for next week because more people are calling. So we're still keeping active. That's a good thing. And but other than that, no major problems. I think one of the things that I still bark about is the recycling revolving fund money. We still have not gotten it from. Well, I think the MOU is with the AG's office at the moment, and that's kind of that's the holdup. But the longer we wait, the more trash builds up, and the quicker the fiscal year runs out, and the less time we have to use the money again. And they'll continue to blame everybody about why things are not done.
Right.
So at the same time, we still pick up what we can and dispose what we can within our own means, and not have to wait for everyone because it's still real slow as it has always been.
Right. How are you guys involved with the big get up and move, not Gus Gus Guam cleanup Saturday? I've heard that there's going to be obviously some cleaning up in the PD area along the main road.
So I appreciate the effort, and I do acknowledge the desire to create a beautiful Guam, or continue to create a beautiful Guam for our visitors and for our island, for our residents. It's going well. We'll support the effort by disposing the trash that the agencies and volunteers pick up along the roadside. But I am concerned about the gathering, and I am concerned about social distancing and health concerns, because we just I think some people are still taking it lightly and not really being cautious.
Yeah, I keep forgetting, Mayor, to ask public health what they think about this cleanup. But all the assurances are that they are going to do the social distancing, that they're going to be wearing the masks. So I think everybody got to be conscious of that, especially with the recent events.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Exactly. And the thing is, I think more and more people are conscious, but I still think there's a large majority that feel that they don't need to wear a mask, or that they don't need to be distant from another person, or those kinds of things. So I am concerned about it, because if we're considering a second wave, if we're suffering now, I think we're going to suffer more should there be a second wave. And that kind of brings me into the thought of, what are we doing as a government to to save for that rainy day, because that rainy day is going to come. And as a homeowner, as a citizen, as a small business owner, as just as a person, you worry about your own finances and you save for that rainy day. But what happens with the government when we're out of money? What happens when we're out of CARES funding? Because it's going to run out. And I haven't heard anyone talk about it, or if I have, perhaps I'm under a rock. But I think I'm concerned about how the government's going to proceed when we run out of money, because I don't hear anyone talking about saving for that rainy day, which I think is going to come real soon.
Yeah, we're working off a budget from last year.
Correct, exactly. And I'm not sure how, of course, in our own work here in Piti, I think about what I'm going to do to not have to use district funds or appropriated funds, or how we would have to work with less funds,
right,
and not for more, at least for now. So I'm concerned in general, because, for me as a small business owner, I'm worried about, salaries. I'm worried about bills. I'm not sure if the government is worried about salaries, because if the government workforce doesn't get paid even 32 hours, I'm not sure what kind of economy we're going to have, even, without the tourism and all.
Did you have to make a bunch of expenditures from your current budget to respond to this crisis?
So the council as a whole, which Angel directs, Angel takes care of that portion. When it comes to us, of course, we make our recommendations to him, and then he takes it from there. But in our own districts, we manage how we spend our money, and then of course we have the option to use it or not.
Right.
Right, but during the COVID crisis, did you have to expend money to respond outside of what you're budgeted?
Oh yes, certainly. And that's when you think about the gas. I mean, we spend a lot of money on gas because our trucks and our vehicles move around daily, and other supplies that we need to take care of before we got the purchase orders for the PPEs. So yes, we did have to spend out of our district funds and out of our pocket, because not every vendor accepted a government purchase order. So, we did have to spend out of pocket.
So are you experiencing a shortfall?
Well, no. For us in PD, we're okay. In general, I'm sure we will, but for us in PD, we're okay.
Okay.
And how are you anticipating these very real shortfalls to affect the operations in your village? Because you said you're already kind of thinking about ways you can do things without having to rely on that funding, that budget, which is definitely going to shrink. I mean, let's be real, they're going to cut you. You guys are going to get cut, probably significantly.
Well, and Chris, Sabrina, the reason why I always push to look for alternative funding sources is because of this situation. And we're grateful in the village to have partnerships with GTA and other businesses where we collect rent. So we do, we've worked hard, my municipal planning council and I, we have worked hard to look and see where we can obtain funding sources outside of the general fund should should something like this occur. Of course, we're not able to pay salaries, and that's going to have to come out of our appropriated funds, which of course we're hoping will be okay. But for the other things, the operations of the village, I can't say that what we receive can cover everything, but I'm sure it'll be able to supplement some of the shortfall.
Right. And so, I mean, talking to mayors, I know they look for grants, they look for money, they look for any type of programs that could bring money into the village. Are you going to be kind of doing the same thing?
Well, I've always wanted to get grants for PD, but I think the good thing is that the people of PD make too much money. The bad thing is that they make too much money. We don't qualify for anything from Gura.
Okay. Maybe you should try applying after COVID.
You know what?
Right.
Well, I'm hoping that the 2020 census will make a big difference
Right.
in our standing with Gura and other grant applications.
Right. Census everybody now before they get the unemployment.
Well, yeah, that's true. And They are. They're actually around the village, so I'm hoping that that it'll work for us
Right.
to our advantage.
Mayor, wanted to switch gears here a little bit.
Sure.
You know, we send a lot of FOIAs out there, and I sent a FOIA asking the Department of Administration to provide us documents about who was paid the COVID differential pay. And just for a little background, as I'm sure you know, the COVID differential pay, there are three tiers. There's a 10%, right? And then there's a 15%. And then the main one is a 25%. 25%, right. And so I actually had to FOIA it a couple times, and they ended up giving me a list of all the agencies and all the people who got the COVID differential pay. I mean, man, Mayor, it was like 400 pages. And the font was just so tight. Is it up on our Twitter? Yeah. Okay, you can check our KWAM News on Twitter if you want to look at it. It was just nuts. It was the smallest. I mean, this is like 2-point font. It was crazy. It really was. I don't have a copy here. It's in my office. But okay, yeah. So in going through this, man, I was getting Kitan. Just trying to read the names, but then when I got to the Mayor's Council of Guam, I was very, very surprised to see that a bunch of your colleagues, elected mayors, received the 15% COVID differential pay.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, well, we were given the option to accept the pay or not, and I did not accept the pay. So I can't answer for the others that accepted the pay. But I'll tell you why I didn't accept it. I didn't accept it because the people that work with me, that make things happen in this village, they really deserve to be paid more. And if my pay could go to them, then I would have preferred that. There are so many other workers within the island that have worked hard during this pandemic, and they all deserve the pay. I can say that I think I'm paid sufficiently, and if my staff and other workers could get paid more with the money that could have gone to me, then I would have preferred that it paid them. Unfortunately, it can't, but that's the main reason why I didn't take it. And unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't add on to the people that I think deserve this pay or this increase for the work that they've already done and the work that they continue to do.
Right.
But yeah.
So just looking at the list, I don't know whether to read off who got it, or it seems almost simpler to read off who didn't get it. And just from what I was able to review, there are 5 village mayors who did not get the COVID differential pay. There's you,
right?
Mayor Jesse Gogui of Chalampago.
Okay.
Mayor Ernest Chargaloff, I believe. I also didn't see his name here. Mayor Doris of Inalahan. And did the Jotnia mayor get the COVID differential pay?
Well, I don't think they had a mayor then. We just swore in Mayor Bill recently, so I don't think he would have gotten.
Right, yeah.
Now, if that was on the list, I would be like, wait a minute.
All kinds of juicy.
That we definitely have a problem.
Right, yeah. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, if you guys can see, this is what I got in my FOIA. I mean, good luck reading. I already got bad eyes.
And that's just only 4 pages.
Yeah, and so it's just all the government of Guam. We're going to be going through it. But, yeah, so reading off some of the mayors who did, Mayor Robert Hoffman, Mayor Paul McDonald, Mayor Melissa Savares, Mayor Luis Rivera, Mayor June Blas and her vice of Barragata, Mayor Kevin of Agate and his vice, Mayor Rudy of Jigo and his vice, Mayor Frankie Salas, Mayor Vicente Taitagui, the vice mayor of Dedido, Mayor Rudy Paco, Mayor Del Alvarez, Mayor Johnny Canata of Umatic. And all these mayors received the 15% COVID differential pay.
I think they should have got 25.
Yeah, and Bree and I were talking about this because I actually found out, the other night, and we had a pretty in-depth conversation about it, right, Bree?
Yeah, I think we're kind of good fighting. No,
we were almost fighting about it, Mayor, because I kind of feel like, and it's weird. I'm just in a weird spot because we spent the whole COVID talking about how hard the mayors were working, how much slack they were picking up at the village level, how they were kept out of the loop with the COVID testing and all the and you know this all this, Mayor.
Well, you know what, and I agree. I think I don't want to say we deserve it. I think we've earned it, but at the same time, I also believe that the people, like I said, that make things work for me here in PD, or for all of us here in PD, deserve a whole lot more than they're earning now.
Yeah.
And and again, giving up my pay is not going to increase their pay, but at least it for my team, at least it shows them that I know that I appreciate them more, because they truly deserve what what they're earning, or actually they deserve more, quite honestly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like there's so many different things going on with the pandemic, and I'm sure you covered one of our meetings, and our pay was not the first thing on our minds, for sure.
Right.
None of us questioned what we were getting paid and how much we were getting paid. We didn't even know we were going to get paid anything extra, but we just did the work because we care for our communities, and that's why we were elected. So at least for me as a mayor, it's more that this isn't part of my service, and I appreciate that people recognize our work, because we have been working since day one, and we continue to work. And there's not much more I can say about that, quite
Right.
honestly, because it's not going to change.
Right.
Now, if we didn't have as far as the pay difference, I mean, if we didn't have to follow the executive order with the 10, 15, 25%, I'm sure the pay would have been different, and it probably would have been more. I would anticipate
Double
that.
pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
So, Mayor, just to refresh our memory, mayors make, is it $70,000 a year?
75.
$75,000 a year, and so you're basically saying that on the money end, you're good. You don't need a penny extra.
Well,
what about
everyone needs more, right?
Right.
Everyone would like more, but
Right.
when I'm saying that it's sufficient enough for what I'm doing.
Right.
It really is. And when you compare my salary to my team's salary, there's a stark difference.
Right.
And I can't change it because it's law, but if we could, I would. And unfortunately, I can't.
What do you think people are going to say about this, though, when they are finding out now that the mayors who were elected to do a job at the village level got this, 15% on top?
Well, like
for
I said,
doing that job.
I'm sure there'll be differences of opinion, and but at the same time, I don't. Yes, they've earned. I think all the mayors have earned their pay, but I don't want to comment about what people would think, because everyone will have a different
Right.
opinion.
What about for how long? Because I FOIA'd the duration of the pandemic, but from what you're understanding, how long did your colleagues get the differential pay?
Well, I believe it's the same as our staff, so I think it would have been since March 14, if I'm correct, which is the very beginning of the executive order, or the declaration of the emergency. So yeah, since I think March 14 is when they were compensated.
Mm-hmm.
Up until now.
Was everybody given the same amount? Like 10%, 15%?
No. Well, no. Yes and no. It depends on the work that they performed,
did?
right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So in your timesheets, the timesheets will note how many hours they worked and what type of work they performed, and that'll determine the category. So it's the categories are the 10%, 15%, and 25%.
Mm-hmm. Who made the ultimate decision on the level of exposure, at what rate they were going to be paid the differential pay?
So as the mayor, we determine what they do, and then we of course put down what we believe the category is.
Mm-hmm.
But then I believe it is DOA that makes that determination if it's okay or not, and if it's not, then it's kicked back and it's redone based on a recommendation from them, I believe.
What do you think it says, Mayor, that only five village mayors opted not to get this COVID differential pay? Do you think that tells more of a story than the flip side of it is that everyone else did?
Well, like I said, everyone thinks differently. I'm not sure why the others felt, or why the 5 or the other 4 felt that they didn't need to accept the pay. But it's kind of difficult because when you take a look at the ones that did not accept it, I mean, I think we're all a different age, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what their thought process was on it. But for the rest, for the remaining, quite honestly, I know that everybody worked hard and everyone was in danger because, and everyone, most of us, I think in the Mayor's Council have comorbidities. So, we could die out there just like everyone else. But because of the fried rice and the empanada. But I think I don't want to comment on it other than did they earn their keep? Yes, they did.
Yeah, no one's saying they didn't do the work.
They certainly did.
Right. But now I'm just wondering, like, they're the only elected officials who got this pay that I know of. I don't think the governor or lieutenant governor are out here like, yeah, we're going to get a 15% too.
But these elected officials, though, were out there on the street helping people, going door to door. I just don't see the mayors just kicking back in their office.
No, I don't. I don't think they were. But then again, when you're elected mayor, it comes with a certain amount of responsibility that you're already compensated for.
And that's true too.
But this differential pay was
what
created
I want to say about that
based on level of exposure. Sorry.
Correct.
No.
Even if it was if it was a typhoon, right? If it was a typhoon, we would not get the overtime.
Right.
We would not be authorized for overtime pay. So that was one of the other factors. Was if we couldn't get it then, what makes me think I can get it now?
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that was another thing. Was looking back at previous disasters, the mayor, the elected official, could not accrue overtime pay. So what makes the pandemic different?
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they didn't do the work, because they did do the work.
Correct, and that's the other reason why I'm saying the double pay is also what I believe our team deserves, because they worked just as hard as if it was a typhoon.
Right.
And probably even worse now because they could actually contract, the virus.
Right. And you know how we feel about double pay. I mean, we're all about that double pay because it's what it's what is written is why.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying, and that's what some of us are saying. But the executive order is overriding apparently what is written.
I mean, we got Angel coming on in a few, so interested to see.
Executive orders don't trump the law.
Right. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, and that's why I made that, and that's why I wrote to the governor about it, was because I wanted that noted that they do deserve that pay.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure your WhatsApp's going to be blowing up after this phone call.
Peace.
The mayor's going to be like, "What the hell, Mayor Jesse?" No, and I mean, let's just be real though. People are hurting out there, right? People are hurting, and it's just not going to be a good look when they see that. Because I remember there was a mayor's council meeting where Mayor Savares she went off about, we never worried about our pay, but then come to find out the whole time they were getting the pay.
And that's exactly why I didn't comment about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still would like to see this entire list.
Yeah. No,
and see who else got this pay.
Amen.
And what agencies they worked for. And
I did take some notes. There are some notables.
But with Mayor Savares' remarks, and I agree to some extent that we never argued about pay. We did not. We didn't consider what, like I said, what we were going to get paid, if we were going to get paid any differential pay, but we worked. And of course, after the fact, after everything was going on, or in the midst of everything, that's when most of this came up about, well, hey, our guys are out there, our guys and our ladies are out there, and they deserve something, and they work just as hard as everyone else does, just like the nurses and the doctors.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't comment about her statement.
Well, I see you trying to wiggle your way out of this. He's like, what other good things can I say about my colleagues before I hang up?
That's what I can say.
I work with the best mayors. All right, Mayor, we'll let you go. I don't want to give you any more rope.
Well, you know what? No, I'm not concerned about that at all.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I'm excited about your the Relay for Life, the virtual Relay for Life.
Right.
I didn't realize that the TikTok challenge, because we're having one too. So
Mayor, send
really?
Send it over. Send your video over. We'll try and see how we could use it.
My staff is pressuring me to do one. So,
I'll pay you 15% to do a TikTok challenge.
No, that requires 25%.
Oh, okay. For your moves. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks,
Okay,
Mayor.
guys, have a good day.
Appreciate it. Wash your hands.
Adios.
Okay. 8:58. Yeah, this is a really interesting conversation. We'll get into it again.